this tutorial, we're going to create a beautiful piece of fractal art. What is a fractal, you may ask? A fractal is a never-ending, infinitely complex pattern created by repeating a simple process over and over again. If you'd like to follow along, open Photoshop in a separate window and open the file Kite in the link in the video description. The first thing we want to do is make a selection of our butterfly wing. So using the keyboard shortcut W, that will take us to our selection tool. If the magic wand tool is highlighted, just hit Shift W on the keyboard and that will toggle till you get your selection tool. In this instance, we're going to use the Select Subject option. It should work quite successfully with this image. Click on that. Okay, so it's done quite a good job. What we want to do is remove this area here. So, as you can see, our Add to Selection tool is highlighted. If we hit the Option key on the keyboard, it toggles to our Subtract Selection key. So, with a pixel setting of 20, just go into the drop-down menu, you can adjust that. We're going to hit the Option key and just remove this area here because we don't want that to be part of the selection. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. That looks pretty good. Just let go of the keys. Now, if we hit Command J for a Mac or Control J for a PC, we're going to save the selection to a new layer. We turn the background layer off, you'll see we've got our selection. What we want to do is hit Command T on a Mac or Control T on a PC to transform this subject, and we're just going to move it over right to the other side of the background. Hit Enter. We want to duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. We want to free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Right click, we want to flip horizontal. Click and drag the other side over till it joins in the centre. Hit Enter. We want to merge that layer up now. So if we hit Command Option Shift E on a Mac or Control Alt Shift D on a PC and save those two butterfly wings to their own layer. We go down to Layer 1 Copy, click on that, hold the Shift key down, click on all the layers underneath so they're all highlighted, and we're going to click and drag to the bin. Okay, so now we've got Layer 2. Keep this area nice and tidy. We want to duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. We want to free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. With our cursor, we go to the corner and click, and that will turn our butterfly. We're going to position that somewhere in the centre. With the Option key, click on the corner box there, bring it down, reduce the size and centre it like so. Hit Enter. We want to stamp up the layer now, so we're going to hit Command Option Shift D on a Mac or Control Alt Shift D on a PC. So now that's on Layer 3. We go down to Layer 2 Copy, make sure that's highlighted, hit the Shift key, click on Layer 2, click and drag those to the bin. I want to work on a landscape format, so if we go to Image, Image Rotation, we're going to rotate it by 90 degrees clockwise. We want to free transform. If we hit Command T on a Mac or Control T on a PC, we're going to go over to the corner, turn that around, hit the Option key, and we're going to reduce the size of this. Now, we don't want to make this too small, so round about that size, which is about a quarter of the height of the image. Just drag it down a bit, and I will explain further as to why we do this. If we hit, get into position and hit enter. Okay. Want to duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Want to free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Hit the Option key, click, make it slightly smaller, drag it up, and just spin it until it's at an angle and hit enter. To duplicate the layer again, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. The Option key, click on the corner, reduce the size of it a little bit, move it up, spin it around so they're still touching but with a little bit of space, as you can see here. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Click on the corner, Option key, click and drag a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. Spin and position it. We're going to create a tail. So making sure that it is touching in some way, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Option, click in the corner to reduce the size. Spin, position, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Option key, click, drag a little bit smaller. Turn, position it about there. I'm just going to enlarge my screen a bit so I can see what I'm working on. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Option, click on the corner, reduce the size, drag it over, spin it a little. Just make sure it's still connected, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Option, reduce the size by clicking on that corner, drag it over, spin it, position it there, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Option, click and drag, position it. What we're actually doing is we want to create a tail. Hit enter. As you can see, I'm creating a curve. If we duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, Option, click, reduce the size of that little butterfly, spin it. We're going to create more of a curve here. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, Option, click, making it smaller, oops, click and drag, just zoom in so I can see what I'm working. Okay, and we're just spinning it so it's going to sort of curve around like this. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, Option, click, reduce the size of it, move it up, spin it around so we get that sort of tail effect. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, Option, click, reduce the size, drag it up, position it so it's overlapping slightly. Enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Option, click and drag to make it smaller. It's getting a bit harder to see now. Okay. And position it there, hit enter. Okay, if I zoom back out, you can see I've sort of created a tail. Now, we want to merge up the layers because we're going to use that tail and position it in different areas of the document. Command Option Shift D on a Mac, Control Alt Shift D on a PC to merge up the layers. We go down to layer 3, copy 14, hit the Shift key, making sure that layer 3, copy 14 is highlighted. Go down to the bottom, make sure they're all highlighted, click and drag to the bin. So now all we've got is layer 4. Now that, if I just reduce the size of it, we're going to now copy this and move it around the document, overlay it in different ways. What we don't want to do is make this any larger than what you actually see now because you're going to lose resolution. It's a little bit of wisdom from Adam Williams. So we're going to duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag. Remembering that we don't want this to be any larger than it already is. We can reduce the size of it, but we just can't make it any larger. I'm quite happy. You can place it wherever you want. I'm going to have one coming up there. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag and put it in position. Now, as I said, we need to keep this as large as this, and what we're going to do is then layer it with smaller options. So I'm just going to pop it there, maybe spin it a bit, something like that. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag, spin it. I'd have one, say there, hit enter. Now if we hit Command Option Shift E on a Mac and Control Alt Shift D on a PC, stamp up the layer. We have layer 5 with the 4 tails sitting over the background. We go down to layer 4. I want you to click and drag that up above layer 5. So you'll see a blue line. Just let go. Now we've got layer 4 positioned here. I want you to double click on that and name it Spiral. Hit enter. Want to free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag that. Option click on the corner, that there, and hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Now, I'm just going to zoom in by hitting Command plus on a Mac or Control plus on a PC. And we're going to spin that. We want to keep it the same size, but we want to line up those tails down here, but with this area slightly overlapping. Hit enter. We hit Command Option Shift T on a Mac or Control Alt Shift T on a PC and keep pressing that, and you'll see that we're going to create a beautiful spiral. It's a bit like a spirograph. It's very cool. Now you can keep hitting it till you're happy with the design. I'm doing it so that I can't really see any white spaces. I think that looks pretty cool. Just zoom in a bit more. Look at that. Sensational. Okay, I'm going to reduce the size of the screen. Now what I want to do is save that into a group. So if we click on the top copy, in this case it's spiral copy 24, hit shift and go down to our layer named spiral, click on that, and we're going to click and drag it down to our group icon here. We're going to create a little group. So we'll click on there, drag it to that. Now we have group 1. First thing I want to do is reposition that. So we want to free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Remembering we don't ever want to make this any larger than it currently is. So if we position this based on where we want the largest positioned, and then we can reduce the size of it. Okay, so I kind of like one sort of there in the corner. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag, quite like sort of a big one there, hit enter. Now I'm going to start reducing the size of it probably. We want to duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, maybe sort of half of it showing there or a bit less than half. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag. Now we can reduce the size of it. Option, click. Remembering, now we don't want to make any duplicate layer any larger than this from this point. Yeah, I'll just position one there. Hit enter. So remembering that the groups are our spirals, I'm going to go down to layer 4 copy, click on that. I'm going to click and drag that to the top, making sure that blue line's highlighted. Let go. We've got layer 4 copy there. I'm going to duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, and click and drag. I'm going to make this slightly smaller. As I said, we're layering this now, and I'm going to create some cool sort of overlays by clicking and just connecting them. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, drag it, keeping either that size or smaller. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, freeze transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click, drag, and position it wherever you feel. A little bit coming out from there. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Now I'm going to reduce it a little bit further by clicking Option, which will keep it in ratio. And I'm going to position a few of these in different areas. Put one there, like that. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, keeping it that size. Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Click and drag, pop one up there, hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag. You can see we're just creating sort of squiggles really. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, spin it. I'm going to put one sort of up here, like so. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, keeping it the same size. Just going to position it there, hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag. I'm kind of going to space them sort of evenly coming out from this main spiral. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and dragging. Somewhere about there. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Pop one about there. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag, enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click, position that, put one there, enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. I really feel, I know we're starting to overlap, but that's okay. Just pop it in position there, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag. Remembering I'm keeping these all the same size, because as soon as you reduce the size of it and then you start to duplicate the layer and then try and enlarge it, you're going to lose resolution. Hit enter. Kind of feeling that it's looking quite funky. Maybe another one here. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Actually, I'm kind of feeling that's enough over there. So now I'm just going to create some sort of tails in different areas. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Spin it around. Pop one up here. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Maybe pop one over there, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. Now I'm going to reduce the size of it. So if we free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, Option, click on the corner, reduce the size of it, spin it. Now I'm just going to fill in some areas, give a little bit more interest with these smaller ones. Hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. We might add some to this. We might Position it there to create a bit more of a tail. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Clicking, pop one there, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Add one up here, something like that, enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. You'll be dreaming about duplicating layers and free transforming after you've finished this tutorial. Okay, position one there, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. If you ever forget the keyboard shortcuts for duplicating and free transforming, then I give up. I'm just going to pop one there, hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Might add a little bit more sort of interest over here. Maybe one in there. Something like that. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Add one over there, hit enter. You can position these wherever you like. It's very random. Duplicate the layer once again, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. I'm going to reduce this a little further. Option, click on that, move it. We're going to position these in different areas. I'm going to pop one there. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. I'm just going to pop these sort of in random areas. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Pop another one in there. Enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Spin it. Oh, where should we put one? There. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Kind of getting a bit of an octopus sort of feel. Really? Actually, we might put some over here. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Pop another one there. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. I'm keeping all these the same size. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Put one there. Which might pop it sort of in that gap there. Put about there. Enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. On there, enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Oops. Click and drag. Position it there, enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Starting to lose my voice. You're probably quite happy about that. Going to just add that in there to create a little bit more of a swirl. Hit enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Oh, click and drag. One there, enter. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, spin, those two up like so. I'll just zoom in so we can see that they're sort of connected. There we go. Enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Bring that out again so I can see what I'm doing. Pop one. Actually going to spin, oops, I'm going to spin that. Angle it there, hit enter. I think I'm quite happy with that. Actually, maybe one more. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC. Click and drag, put it up in this corner here. Maybe coming out from here, the corner. Enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, spin, reposition, spin it around like that, hit enter, duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC, free transform, Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, click and drag. Spin it around like that. Actually, no. You can see this is sort of very random. Position them, as I said, wherever you like. Hit enter. I'm kind of pretty happy with that. Making sure layer 4, copy 46 is highlighted. That means to say that I've said Command J and Command T more than 46 times, you poor things. Click on Shift. Going to go down to layer 4, copy. Click on that. Go down to group. Click on that. And we've got group 2. Group 2 is all our little tails. And group 1, I mean, you can name these layers if you like. Maybe we should do that. Double click on that. I'm going to just call this tails. And this way you can go back and actually duplicate these and position more in if you wanted to. That's why I've put them in their groups here. What we're going to do is make sure tails is highlighted. We're going to stamp up this layer. Command Option Shift E. On a Mac, Control Alt Shift D on a PC. Now, you can leave these layers behind if you want. If you wanted to go back maybe and add a few more tails or add a few more spirals, up to you. I'm going to delete mine this instance just to keep my file size smaller. Click on tails, go down to all my layers, making sure all my layers underneath are highlighted. Click and drag to the bin. You'll see that my file size has gone from 1.39 gig to 84.4 megabytes. So this will make it faster for me to work on and take up less space on my computer when I'm saving. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is add a bit of colour, add a bit more colour. I know you might think this is very colourful, but we're going to add a bit more colour to it. So if we go down to our adjustment layer icon, click on that, click on a hue saturation layer. Click on that. Okay, I'm going to crank up the saturation a little bit. I want it to be sort of quite bright, at about 42. See, that's really vibrant. And then with the hue, you can obviously slide this around and get completely different looks. Position it wherever you want to. It's insane what Photoshop can do with just the move a little slider. Anyway, I'm going to go up to about 12, so something like that. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay, now we want to add a little bit of contrast, so we're going to go to the adjustment layer icon down here, click on that, Go to curves. Now we want to create a point on the line where it dissects the corner of the lower bottom quadrant. So click on there. And we want to click another spot on the line where it dissects the top quadrant there. We bring this point down a little bit. Oh, you can see, look at the contrast there. And lift this one up a little bit. Look at that. If I just turn that off, you can see, just gives it a little bit more pop. Okay. Go to merge up the layer, Command Option Shift E to merge up the layers. Okay, so now we've got layer 7. What we want to do now is create our background. We're going to do that by using a gradient. So if we hit the keyboard shortcut G on the keyboard, we'll see that that will highlight our gradient tool. If we go to the top, click to edit the gradient. If you don't have this particular gradient selected, just go down to the arrow. I'm using this gradient here, which is foreground to background. Just click on that. Now we want to have this box highlighted here. That indicates that it'll be a linear gradient, so just make sure that's highlighted. Now if we click on the actual gradient, click to edit the gradient, click on that. We go down to our colour box stop, down underneath the gradient here, click on that, go to colour. Now I want to choose a nice sort of purpley mauvey colour. So you can create whatever colour gradient you want. I'm going to click around that colour there. 5229 AD is the colour I've selected. Click OK. If we go to the colour stop box underneath the gradient on the right hand side, click on that, go to colour, click on that, and now I'm going to choose sort of a duck yellow, duck yolk, egg yolk yellow, I suppose. Click on that, click OK. Now we've got this beautiful gradient that runs from mauve through sort of orangey yellow. Looks beautiful. Click OK. If we take our cursor to one side of our background, click and drag, it's going to pull the gradient out over across the image. Okay, look at that, beautiful. Now, if you wanted the purple over the other side, you would click and drag from the right-hand side. The only thing is now we've got this beautiful gradient showing, but we can't see our background. So we want to click, making sure that's highlighted, click and drag it. We're going to position it under layer 6. Okay, like that. At this point in time, this hue saturation layer is affecting all layers underneath it. So the first thing I want to do is go to this hue saturation layer, and I want to click on the clip to layer icon and click that there. Now, you'll understand why I've done this in a moment. If I go to layer 7 and make sure that's highlighted, I want to add another hue saturation layer. Click on the adjustment layer icon, click on hue saturation. Now this hue saturation layer is only going to affect the gradient. So I'm going to increase the saturation, probably about there. And once again, you could actually, if you wanted to, you could change the hue of this gradient very easily, just running through the sliders there. Oh, there's some funky combinations. Look at that. That's really sort of popping out, isn't it? I'm actually thinking, no, I should probably stick to my original. Okay. Now, if we go to the hue saturation layer, that is only going to affect layer 6. I'm going to actually fiddle around. You'll see that in dragging this hue, I'm only affecting that layer. So much fun, isn't it? Okay, so we just need to find a place where you're really happy with the outcome. I still kind of really like that. Might go down to the hue saturation layer. Again, just have a bit more of a fiddle. You just want to choose something where it's really kind of popping out. Thinking about, different colour combinations. Obviously yours is going to be looking different to mine because you may have chosen a different colour. And I might even, because we do really kind of want the background to be secondary. Probably not that secondary, so I'm going to maybe just not have the saturation as bright. Just really liking that kind of blue-green combination. Again, a bit more of a fiddle, just fiddle with that hue now of the top layer. Too many choices sometimes. Really kind of jumps out, but I don't know, maybe I'm going to go with a blue kind of sort of blue theme. Let's have a look at that closer. Yeah, I'm kind of quite sort of liking that. No, I'm not really. I'm telling a lie. I'm going to go back and bring the hue back to about there of that gradient layer, because I really quite like that blue combination standing out from those sort of warmer colours underneath. It's really popping out a bit more. Anyway, I'm really happy with that now. So all that's left to do now is save our file. You can stamp it up one more time if you like. I often like to sort of do that when I've finished with my work. So Command Option Shift D on a Mac, Control Alt Shift D on a PC. So let's save our image. File, Save As. Now I'm going to save it as a TIFF. I'm going to I'm going to name it Kite Outcome. Going to Format, save it as a TIFF. Click on Save. Making sure image compression is at none, pixel order interleaved, byte order, well, I'm using a Macintosh, a layer compression, faster, saves bigger files, RLE, click OK. That will save our file. What we want to do now is flatten the layer flatten, image, click on that. Got a flatten layer now. Duplicate the image, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. I'm going to add a little bit more sort of crunch to it. So if we go into Filter, Stylize, Emboss, click on that. Now just move this over the side. We want a height of 2 pixels and amount of 500%. If you click on this angle and see, if you move it around, choose an area where it really kind of popping out of the screen. Click OK. Usually you would position this at the angle where the light's coming in. I'm going to choose there because it looks like it's popping out to me. Click OK. Go down to the blend modes, click on that and change the blend mode to overlay. I'm going to zoom in now and just show you this. You can see, it's really, okay, you can see that there. If I turn off that embossing layer, Look at the difference. For this example, we can use this tool. So there's before, there's after. I really like the amount of detail that's showing there. Just zoom back out. File, save as, and we're going to save it as a flattened high-res TIFF. I just enter FHR at the end of my file name, and we want it saved as a TIFF. Click on save. That's because I saved it earlier. Click OK, leaving all of those settings the same as they were previously. Click OK. Now I want to flatten the layer once again. Layer flatten, image. Duplicate the layer, Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. First thing we want to do is add a canvas. So if we go to Image, Canvas Size, the first thing I want to do is add a very narrow canvas in black. So we want 0.2 centimetres in width and 0.2 centimetres in height. We want to make sure the relative box is ticked. We want a canvas extension colour. We click on the drop down, we want black. Click OK. Okay, now we've got this nice, fine little black edge. We want to add some more borders, so we go to Image, Canvas Size, and I want to add a width of 9 centimetres and a height of 9 centimetres, making sure the relative box is ticked. Go down to Extension Colour, click on the drop down menu, click on white, click OK. If we go to Image, Canvas Size, now I like to add a little bit more at the bottom of my images. So we're going to go to height and add another 2 centimetres. We want the relative box ticked, but we want to click on the anchor box here on this top arrow in the centre. Click on that. What that's going to do is apply that 2 centimetres only to this bottom area of the image, and that's where we want it. The reason why I do that is when a painting is hanging on a wall, it hangs at a slight angle. So the visual centre of the image changes. This is ultimately correcting that. Also too, when you add a signature down the bottom, it again creates a problem with the visual centre of the image. So I always do it. That's a little framing trick from my previous life. Click on OK. OK. So now we need to reduce the size of the image because we're saving this for the web. So if we go to Image Size, I'm going to be quite generous today and enter an amount of 2037 pixels. On the width, the height will change in ratio. Keeping, it doesn't really matter about resolution, I just leave it the same. Click OK. Making sure resample's ticked. I've got bicubic smooth gradients chosen. Click OK. Okay. Now I like to enlarge it again so I can see it better. We go to Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask, and I'm just going to add a little bit of sharpening. An amount of 500%, radius of 0.2 pixels and threshold of 0. Click OK. Now I'm going to add a drop shadow. So if we go down to the layer style icon, which is this little FX down here on the screen, click on that, click on drop shadow, choose the blend mode of multiply. First thing you do, click and drag on the image. You can position your gradient wherever you want. I'm going to move it to there for the moment. The next thing you need to do is adjust the opacity. I want it to be sort of quite light, just a hint of a shadow, just to create a little bit of depth in the image. If you fiddle around with the sliders, I'll let you have a play with this. You can click on distance. You see that's affecting the amount of pixels, the distance of that shadow. I don't want it to be very large, so I'm going to drop it down. 43 pixels. Spread. So you can see there, if we increase that, it solidifies the shadow. But I want mine to be quite obscure, so I'm going to keep the setting quite low. Something like that. And size, obviously, I've got mine set quite low, but if I was to increase the spread and then increase the size, you can see that shadow is just, oh, phenomenal. Anyway, I don't want anything like that. So, as I said, I'm going to reduce the spread, reduce that size out a bit, reduce the distance. Something like that. It's just very faint. I might create a bit more distance in that. As I said, click and drag and you can position it wherever you like. See, if you really wanted a solid line, you could bring the size down like that. I don't. Just subtle amount. Okay. Quality, make sure that this box, if you click on the drop down, make sure this one here, contour, is clicked. Anti-alias, not ticked. I don't worry about noise. If you tick, the layer knocks out drop shadow. Click on that. Click OK. Okay, now if I go to the layer visibility icon, click that off, you can see just gives a little bit more depth and really sort of pops it out of the page. Okay, almost done. I like to at this point add my signature. So I'll go to where that is. Here's something I prepared earlier. Click and drag that in. I'm going to reduce the size of that because that is ridiculous. Clicking on the option key, I do it about 2 centimeters. And drag and put it into position. You'll see the pink lines on the vertical and horizontal areas, the edge of the image, is showing that that's lined up. It's a great little function of Photoshop. Okay, hit enter. Okay, my autograph's there. Last thing to do is edit, convert to profile. I'm going to save it as an sRGB file. Profile, sRGB, making sure that you're using Adobe, ACE Engine, intent relative colorimetric, tick use black point compensation, flatten image to preserve appearance. I don't worry about dither. Click OK. Okay. Now, all we need to do is save it as a JPEG. File, save as. And all I do is change my FHR to web, click on format, save to JPEG, click save. Image quality of 12, maximum, large file size, baseline, highlighted, click OK. I just leave mine at that. You can reduce the size of it, obviously, it's up to you. Click OK. All right. That looks pretty cool. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. I'm sure you're sick of hearing Command J and Command T, but you'll never forget it. Here's something I also did earlier using exactly the same file. I'll just click on it to show you. Using exactly the same file, exactly the same gradient, and you can see the difference between the two. Every time you do this, it will turn out differently. Obviously, you can see my drop shadow is a bit softer here. It's a bit stronger there. Look at that. Well, I'm really happy. I hope you're really happy with your image that you've created today. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.